get out your streamers and noisemakers. It is episode 100 of Scar Bearers. I'm Chris DT Gordon, obviously, and I am so happy that you are here with me today. Also with me, and they've been with me since the beginning, it seems Nate and Britton Barron. Please share your love for them as you reach out to them for your technological needs at Nate Barron. As I said before, folks, it is episode 100 of Scar Bearers. Before those in accounting start picking apart my account and say, hey, you have more than 100 episodes of videos on your YouTube channel. Hold on there, Skippy. I do have more than 100 videos on this channel, but I have 100 episodes of Scar Bearers now on the channel. There's a difference. Sometimes I put up little videos to spread the attitude of gratitude, my speaking message. Sometimes I put up videos about pandemic teaching tips because I am a seasoned online teacher. Sometimes I do weird random video, comic book, video game, or running stuff. But for Scar Bearers itself, this is episode 100, and I'm so happy that you are here with me today. So we're going to get right into it. My new friend, Karen Robinson, is here. Karen, how are you today?
I'm better now that I'm here with you.
Well, thank you very much. I feel the same way. Now, Karen, on Scar Bearers here, we talk about our scars, and scars can take many forms. My scars are mostly physical, but yours are a little different, shall we say. Would you mind sharing your story, please?
Sure. I grew up on the border of Maine and New Brunswick, Canada. And when I was 6 or 7 years old, my family moved from Maine to Canada, where my dad is from. So I have half my family in the States and the other half is in Canada. And we grew up in a deserted area, or very, very rural. The closest neighbors was a bit of a walk away. And my experience living there with my family wasn't very easy. There was domestic violence in my home. There was emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. So the scars I tend to claim are more emotional in nature because that seems to have the biggest impact on me and on my life. And it impacted me to the point that I wanted to become a therapist and a transformation coach so I could teach others how to not only survive what's happened to them, but to thrive, heal and thrive afterwards.
First of all, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to apologize, for those scars you had to endure. But I also want to commend you for your bravery and the fortitude it took to rise above that situation and say, I don't want to be a victim anymore, and I don't want anyone else to be a victim. And so at what point in your journey did you decide that you wanted to become a therapist?
Well, it's such a great question. It's a bit difficult to answer because there is like a bunch of lightning ball moments, like lightning or thunderstruck moments. I'm not being very articulate today. I don't think I had enough caffeine today.
Great idea.
Lightning bolts. Yeah.
There you go.
So, I mean, I knew I had the knack, because even on the playground as a little kid, I was trying to mediate arguments and conflict and trying to work things out. But the moment I really knew is that when I ran away from home and I was assigned a social worker, and he said to me, he goes, I know that you've been a bad girl, essentially. You probably lie about your family. You're probably doing drugs. You're probably sleeping around. And none of that was true. And the goal of him to say that was just mind blowing to me. And I was like, it just sealed the deal. Like I had this voice inside me. It's like, oh, I'm going to become a social worker and I'm never going to treat people like this.
Wow. That is
Mm.
awful that someone would, like you said, have the gall to say that. I mean, what was his goal in saying that? Did he ever say, was it tough love, or was he just a horrible person?
Oh, I doubted that he was a horrible person, I would hope.
Yeah.
I think he maybe did work with some troubling teens who were acting out. Maybe he thought all teens did that.
Mm.
Um, maybe he thought that would help me change my mind about going back home, but that none of that was successful. So,
That's I do apologize for calling him a horrible person, but at the same point, but at the same time, I can't believe that someone who is assigned to help a teen would take such an aggressive approach
right.
and try to use that line of questioning to make you better or to
Yeah.
help your situation.
Yeah, and I don't even remember him asking me what happened. I don't remember him asking me any questions about why I made that decision.
So basically, you were guilty no matter what. In his mind, you were guilty, and it's your problem to fix.
Right.
Hmm. So
It didn't sit well.
yeah, apparently.
But
So
I mean, if that hadn't have happened, maybe I wouldn't have been on the path that I ended up on, which has been really
that
great.
that is true. I was talking with someone earlier today. We're talking about my story and how if what happened to me hadn't happened, we probably wouldn't be talking today. And so,
Exactly.
the same thing here. And so you have this wonderful conversation with this fantastic person, and you make that decision that, hey, I'm going to become a social worker. What were the steps you took then?
Mhm. Well, there was a bit of a foster care discussion, and that wasn't working out very smoothly. I was from a very small town. And so my aunt and uncle, I was staying with them after I ran away. They decided to, keep me as they were my guardians. And so I just studied really hard. They were very encouraging, and I ended up getting a full scholarship to college.
Awesome.
And so I did my bachelor's and my master's both in social work. I knew that I didn't want to live in poverty. I knew that I wanted to be as independent as possible to take care of myself. And I knew that I wanted to make a difference in the lives of women, children. I've made a lot of difference in men with working with men as well. So, yeah.
So what university did you attend?
University of Maine. It's in Orono, Maine.
Okay. So did your aunt and uncle live in Maine? Did you go back to the States then?
Yes, they live near the border. Yep.
Okay. All right. And so you graduate from the University of Maine, you're on a scholarship. And after you graduate, I guess, did you have any formative experiences during your studies, your undergrad studies, that really helped form what kind of therapist you were going to be?
I don't know. I had so many interests. Like I thought at first I would just want to work with abused children and plant seeds, but I found that pretty much any like niche in therapy that I was in, it would be so difficult. Being a therapist is very challenging, that I tended to move around with age groups and population served. So I ended up getting this really beautiful, eclectic experience working with all ranges, all mental health disorders and diagnoses. I've worked in schools, hospitals, military. Um, I've worked overseas. I've worked in adoption. I've worked with the elder. Like I've done like a ton of different things during my career. So I'm very eclectic now. And I feel like my skills are super sharp because of that.
Where did you serve overseas?
Okinawa, Japan for 5 years.
Wow, that's it's not like going to Europe or, just,
It was
say,
better
just a
than that.
hop across the pond. That's a hop across the opposite pond.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
And
Yeah.
so what type of clientele did you serve there?
I worked on a military base. It was called Camp Foster, and it was primarily Marines, but we served all branches of service. All branches are in Okinawa. And then when I came back stateside, I also worked we call it purple when it's all branches. So I did that for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So just wondering here, what's your favorite branch of the military to work with?
I have a lot of friends in a lot of branches. What are you doing to me?
I'm not sure.
Think,
I'm not trying to start something. I just, it's a question that popped in my head. I figured out, I wonder what would happen if I asked this question.
well, the easiest clients were probably the Air Force, but I think the most rewarding were definitely the Marines.
Okay. All my Marine friends are now happy that they got the credit for being the most rewarding. So
yeah. So what was fascinating about working with the military is I found that a lot of my enlisted population, and also, it could be true for officers too, but they not only did they have the military trauma if they were in combat, but a lot of them joined or enlisted to get away from dysfunctional home life. They themselves were often abused or witnessed abuse. So it was like a double, triple whammy with the war experience.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's being easy when you are growing up in such a traumatic lifestyle, and then you go to the military where now not only do you have to deal with those issues, you're also being shot at, which, I mean,
Right.
depending on your situation, that could have been, from your old life anyway. And so that must have been, like, as you said, sharpen your skills, but that must have just given you a lot of ownership over what you could do as a therapist, because that is, I mean, those are a lot of plates to keep spinning. Now, did you go ahead? I look like you're about to say something.
No, I was just agreeing. It is a lot. There's one key ingredient needed, and that's the ability to be genuine and authentic with people. If you can be a genuine, authentic person who gives a shit, then you've already won. And a lot of individual sessions and group sessions I did, it was the first time that many people had shared their story, and so it's a privilege to be able to hear other people's pain. It's not fun, but it's a privilege, and it's very, very empowering for them and me.
I love that you said it's a privilege, because people, even today, people now are still, they view mental health or seeking mental, emotional therapy or some kind of therapy as a weakness. But it's just like going to the doctor if you are hurt, or taking your car into the shop if there's a problem. Mental health is health. And for those people who are brave enough to share, I love that you said it's a privilege, because they don't have to share it, but they are choosing to put themselves out there and give their story. And so I appreciate your outlook on that. So after your stint in Okinawa, you said you were there for 17 years?
No, I worked for the federal government for 17 years. 5 were in Okinawa. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. No monster attacks though, right?
No monster attacks?
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of kaiju and, sorry, bad Godzilla joke. All right. Anyway. So after Okinawa, as you come back to the States, where did you serve then?
Fort Belvoir, Virginia.
Okay.
It's in Alexandria, Virginia. It's really close to DC.
Okay. And how long were you there?
I left December of 2020.
Okay. All right.
We had the first outbreak of COVID in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
I worked at in Virginia. Yeah.
So what was that? I know this is a little off topic, but what was that like, being at the forefront of the pandemic?
Um, it was nerve-wracking, honestly, because your clients are a mess, are anxious, the other providers are anxious, your coworkers and leadership are anxious. So it was riddled with anxiety time for everyone.
Mhm.
And then I ended up having a gallbladder attack.
Oh,
Like I was pretty sick for about a month before they figured out what it was. And then it was like, urgent at that point and was
mhm.
hospitalized. And because COVID was so busy, made the hospital so busy, I had to wait for the surgery for a bit. So pretty agonizing pain. And then even after the surgery, it took me a while to heal. And
Mhm.
so that's why I decided to leave the government position, because I was working on an inpatient mental health unit.
Oh,
And, COVID just kept coming in, like either it was a tech that had it, or one of the traveling students that traveled from Walter Reed would have it. And so I made a decision that I wanted to work from home. So I pivoted. And that's why uh, I'm doing therapy from home, but I'm also doing some transformation coaching as an new entrepreneur.
I was going to ask that. I was going to ask, what did you do next after you left the government? And so you became a transformational coach. And you said, are you also still serving as a therapist, or
Mhm. Yes.
okay? All right. And
And
so,
believe it or not, the military clients and VA clients are still finding me. So a lot of my clients are people in the VA or active duty.
okay.
Yeah,
And so, are you more of a therapist now? Is your time spent more on the therapy, or more on the coaching?
it's a great question. It's 30 hours or more doing therapy because that pays the bills better as I transition. But I'm transitioning and I'm launching very soon a global membership for female trauma survivors,
Hmm.
trauma survivors of childhood abuse, more specifically. And it's going to be a global platform where women can drop in once a month and get some coaching, get a course or two. It'll be based on theme, and get some affirmation work to do, things like that. So that's coming soon.
And what is soon? What's the launch date?
Are you an accountability coach too?
I just like to pride myself on getting, at least asking one good question every episode.
Yeah, it is a great question. So I was in some masterminds earlier today and some accountability coaching. So um, the launch date is, as I just want to choke on it, right? It's exciting and nerve wracking. Um, February 1st
Oh wow. So
is the launch
so
date.
as of this recording, it's coming up, but when this episode is out,
Oh,
you were
yes,
already would have served for a couple months. And
yes.
so, well, congratulations on your future success or present success, depending on when people are hearing this.
Thank you.
So how many programs, you said you have some courses, how many courses are you offering right now?
I have one on suicide assessments right now.
Okay.
So the courses in the membership group will be um, because trauma impacts every area of a person's life.
Mhm.
So each month will be a theme. So trauma's impact on your medical health, trauma's impact on your body image, trauma's impact on your parenting, trauma's impact on your relationships, and so forth. So each month will be a small course about the theme of the month.
Wow, that sounds very impactful. I really like how comprehensive it is, because you're right. Going back to our discussion about mental health, it affects everything. When I speak, I use the adage, where your thoughts go, your mind and body will follow. And when your mind is set on a certain level of thoughts, when you're thinking about one certain thing, that's going to affect your mindset and therefore your actions. And so I applaud that variety of coursework that you're offering, because I think that's going to really help people fully heal by addressing all those issues.
Yeah, when I started to make a list of I'm going to write ebooks on the series as well, and the little courses. When I started to write all the things that traumas impact, the list, I don't think it ends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was in a 9-month trauma training program in the late 90s, and I thought, wow, I got all these tools. And what's incredible is that every day there's newer research on how trauma impacts us coming out. Not that long ago, we learned about the brain, and now we're learning about the nervous system and how trauma impacts that. So I'm very excited. It's excited in the fact that I can even make a little small difference for people with the education and the knowledge I have. And still, I signed up for a new course. It starts at the end of January. And it's the trauma healing program, and it's more about the mind-body connection. So it's also a 9-month course that I'm doing.
Okay, well, good luck with that. I was going to ask, could you give us an example of how trauma affects the nervous system?
Yeah, I'll just use my own body. I don't know if this is a great example, but it's probably, yeah, I think it's an example. So I notice at times I will be working or reading, and my leg muscles will tighten. And so then I have to concentrate on doing some deep breathing, and then they'll loosen again. So just the connection of not knowing what's going on in my nervous system is impacting my muscles to contract or restrict. It's just really interesting because I'm not stretching. It's not after a hard workout that these things are happening. It's my body reminding me, like, oh, you've been through a lot. It's like that trauma reminder. And at first I wasn't. The more aware I become of my body from the therapy I've personally have done, and somatic type of therapy, the more I see like how trauma, if we pay attention to our body, we can tell how we're really doing. It's like, oh, maybe not really okay like I think I am. So yeah.
No, that I appreciate that, because I think once we, when you said that how trauma affects the nervous system, at first glance, you might think, oh, okay, that sounds like something affected to a certain injury, but the human body is so complicated that, you think about, for example, acupuncture, how if you poke a needle in your foot, it's going to affect how your nose works. I mean, I know I'm being a little esoteric, but it's just so weird how things are wired. And so, it makes sense that, trauma would affect your body and your, contractions and tightness in certain areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a sign that the nervous system was impacted, and it's a reminder, like, it's basically saying you're not safe. And so you have to remind yourself that you're safe. Like, okay, in this moment, I am safe. I don't need to do this. So somewheres in my past, I was trained to be on alert for danger, because of the environment I lived in. You had to be in constant alert.
Mm-hmm.
So now I was like, okay, I can remind myself, I'm not in danger. Take a few deep breaths. And it's interesting, because then it's something to pay attention to and work on, and see that if I want to keep helping clients heal, I need to keep working on myself.
Would that be considered a residual example, like a residual effect of PTSD? Mm-hmm. That example you gave with
hyperarousal.
Yeah.
Okay. We call it hyperarousal.
Hyperarousal. Okay. So you have the website going up and the courses. What else is keeping you busy, or something that you're working towards besides that course, of course?
Yeah, I have 3 beautiful children, and so I am working on being. I thought maybe one was coming down. I am working on being intentional with them and the time I spend with them. My oldest just went off to college.
Okay.
So my goal is like, I'm setting a lot of goals on family because I am a workaholic. And I know that's one of the ways to avoid thinking about the past is working all the time.
Mhm.
So I'm a recovering workaholic. I am working on the intention of discipline. Instead of a word of the year, I did an equation of the year. So,
Okay.
because I have to be different. So my equation is discipline equals energy. And I'm not sure if that's a full equation. I probably need a plus or minus sign in there
You
somewhere.
might need a variable one there, maybe
Mhm.
some kind of symbol. But I can see where you have more discipline. You have, and you're on your certain path. You have more energy for that certain path. Whereas if you're not disciplined, you're like Doug the dog. You see a squirrel and you go that way, you have less energy for your endeavors.
Exactly.
So,
So in my therapy session today, we worked on nailing down what my morning routine would look like. So that's what I'm working on right now.
all right. Well, I am excited to learn what becomes of your website and your personal endeavors as well as your professional endeavors. Where can people find you, Karen?
Sure. The easiest way to find me is on healthrivedream.com. And I'm very active on social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all the above.
And we'll put those in the show notes. So
Okay.
linkthrivedream.com is where you could go if you want to work with Karen, and she can help you pave your path to wellness. So Karen, I'm a gratitude guy. I like to ask, what is something about your journey that you would not immediately think of as being grateful for?
What is something? Oh, okay. I guess the resiliency factor. I know it didn't feel like a choice sometime, but resiliency can be hard and beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, I think being able to keep going is sometimes the epitome of beauty, because it's allowing you to not only show strength, but also show grace under that pressure. And
Exactly.
so I appreciate your answer. And so thank you so much, Karen. And you can go again to healthrivedream.com. Before I let you go, though, and I would be a horrible guest of Scar Bears if on this 100th episode I didn't ask, what is your favorite dinosaur?
Are you serious?
Yes.
The right answer is, what's your favorite book?
No.
Hey, Gideon. No. Gideon, I need help.
No. Hi, Gideon.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
So, Gideon, what's our favorite dinosaur?
Well, I think I might see it on your shirt.
A T-Rex?
Yeah, we're gonna go for the T-Rex.
There you go. Maybe we'll make this a tag team. Why do you all like a T-Rex?
I don't like T-Rexes. I like Conosauruses.
Why do you have a T-Rex?
Because my dad brought me it.
Your dad bought it for you? Okay.
Cool.
So Gideon is really into dinosaurs, but mom is really behind the curveball on that.
Well,
You're not into dinosaurs anymore? Okay.
Well,
he thinks he's grown. He turned 9.
well, I have something to show him really quick.
Okay, he wants to show you something. Sit down on his lap.
Gideon, there's no such thing as outgrowing anything, because not only do I have a dinosaur, I have a transformer, and I have a lot of transformers, and I am much older than you. So it's okay to still like dinosaurs. Okay. If you don't like dinosaurs, that's okay. But always think that you can like what you like. Okay.
Say thank you.
So if he could give a thumbs up, he would. But
give a thumbs up, Gideon. Okay, go play your video
And
games.
Grimlock will give one too. There we go. No, and the reason why I ask that question is because one day I saw someone post online, no one asks me what my favorite dinosaur is anymore. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to be that guy that asks that question. Oh my goodness, did I lose you? I hope I didn't lose you. Are you there? Of course, this would happen on the 100th episode. Are you there, Karen?
Yeah, we froze up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We
Well, it had
just
to be the
froze up for
100th
a minute.
episode with some kind of drama. So I'm not sure if you heard me. The reason why I asked that question is because on, I think, Facebook one time, someone lamented that no one asks them what their favorite dinosaur is anymore.
Oh,
And so I said,
very
you know
sad.
what? I'm going to be that guy. And in fact, on my website, I have a link to my merch store, or you could like Google Chris DT Gordon's Tag and Pop Shop. I actually have a "What is your dinosaur" t-shirt.
Very interesting. We may have to check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. I gave them away for Christmas, and I know my nephew really likes his, and my sister really likes hers. So, but that's where that question came from. It has nothing to do with scars. I'm just a huge geek, and I just like to share that.
You know, you probably want to prepare your guests in the future for that question, because I was really unprepared for that.
I asked you in the questionnaire.
What did I say?
Well, let's see. Let's go back. Go
No,
back
I
to
don't
the
remember that.
let's see. I have to jump on the other computer. I think you said you said my son Gideon.
Oh, my Gideon's
My favorite dinosaur. Okay.
Yeah,
That
that's what
makes
you
more
had said.
sense.
So yeah, so no
And
worries.
he showed up. And he
Hey,
showed
there
up
you
the
go. Your
moment
favorite
you asked.
dinosaur is there. Well, Karen, it's been an honor and a privilege to chat with you today. Thank you so much for making my 100th episode even more special.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. So, folks, if you want to check out what Karen is up to, you can go to healthrivedream.com, or you can visit one of her social media sites in the show notes below. If you want to reach out and see what I'm doing with the attitude of gratitude, please come see me at chrisdtgordon.com. You can download a free tag one sheet. You can go to that merch store and get that "What is your favorite dinosaur" t-shirt, or we could just start a conversation where I can help your young people, high schoolers, college students, those in the military, increase their gratitude, positivity, and resilience so they can overcome their challenges and become the leaders we all need them to be. Please like, subscribe, and share all these fantastic messages of hope and inspiration so we can make the world a better place. And with that, I thank you once again for being here today. Please have a wonderful day. And remember to pass on perfection and go for greatness.